You and your partner Shanduka announced a 107 megawatt temporary power plant to go up in Mozambique and to produce power for the next 2 years. Can you give us some background to how this project came about?
Yeah, Aggreko and Shanduka have been working together for since 2006, specifically on the World Cup here and various other projects. And about 4 years ago, when we were in Mozambique, we realized there was gas available, which was unallocated gas, for a short period, a 2-year period only. So we set about working with our partner Shanduka on utilizing that gas for power generation. And this is today now obviously announcing this 107 megawatts. What's important to remember there is that this is still subject to some conditions precedent in the contract, which will be closed out in the next week to 10 days. But as a public company, we need to go ahead and make the press aware and our investors aware.
And you've already started work on site. You've chosen a site. You've got your logistics in place to bring in the units. Can you give us some sort of technical details about the project?
Yes, I mean the site we've chosen is Rizia Garcia's site, which is about just over the border in Mozambique from Kamati Port. And the reason we chose that site is it has the 275 kV interconnection between South Africa and Mozambique, but also more importantly, it also has the gas connection point as well from the Romco pipeline that comes from the north of Mozambique down into South Africa for Sasa. So it's an ideal location in terms of being able to connect into the utility easily and also from the gas supply point of view.
And then you'll be supplying not only Mozambique, a small portion will go to Mozambique, but also Eskom in South Africa is an off-taker.
Is an off-taker, yes. We have two off-takers, two PPAs. One is with EDM for 15 megawatt. The other one is for Eskom, which is 92 megawatt.
And the bulk of the power will be sold to Eskom, as I understand, and it will be for baseload capacity. And for EDM, it will be more of a peaking load.
Correct. I mean, the 92 will be base load for Eskom, and EDM are taking a peaking 15 megawatts for some 12 to 14 hours a day.
And the power purchase agreement is in place, all the other regulatory approvals?
Yeah, all the regulatory approvals required in South Africa, NERSA, DOV, etc., are all completed. As I said, there's a couple of smaller CPs to be completed in the next week to 10 days, and that's why we're stressing that point to people. But we see no reason why they won't be completed. We're very confident they'll be completed. But it's the nature of these fast-track projects. We're going to be bringing this power online, the start of Q3. And as you alluded to earlier, we have actually started work on site. The first equipment has arrived on site. The overhead line has been put in. The pipeline has been put in. The first generators have arrived. The substation has been put in. So these things have to work in tandem and in parallel. So we have to negotiate the contract, do the work, and Aggreko's spent tens of millions of dollars up front getting this project off the ground and delivered on time for Eskom, which is very important to both Eskom and EDM.
And it's been a major logistical exercise. You've brought in your own temporary units, but those have to come in via ship. I imagine you've had to assemble them, make sure you've had enough capacity. Just can you take us through the logistics behind the project? The
logistics are massive for this project. Not only first of all the engineering scope of this in terms of building a 275 kV substation in a very short period of time, the transformers for that, which have been built, the overhead lines, the pipeline. There have been unit parts coming from the US, parts coming from China, parts coming from South Africa, switchgear from here. So the main bulk of the power generation equipment has come from our manufacturing in Dumbarton in Scotland. But a lot of the other items required, the gas pressurization skid, the switchgear, etc., have come from all over the world.
And why is Eskom interested in this power?
Aggreko, this is an off the balance sheet. Aggreko doing the investment. There's no capital requirement for Eskom, as I said, it's a unique opportunity to utilize available gas for a 2-year period in a very, very short time frame. I think from start to finish, the whole installation and commissioning will take some 22 weeks. And then the plant is available to run for Eskom and EDM.
You're also leaving some legacy infrastructure behind.
Yeah, it's a very important part of this, and important for people to realize is that, the substation, the 275 kV substation, the transformers, the switchgear, the gas infrastructure will remain behind afterwards to be utilized by EDM and Eskom and various other power providers who are building long-term power plants there.
Finally, South Africans really got to know your name during the FIFA World Cup, but you've had massive international as well as African growth. Can you take us through some of the African growth, where it's come from, and what your aspirations are on this continent?
Yeah, I mean, we are best known obviously here in South Africa for our joint venture with Shanduka for the World Cup, and also various other projects we've done here, and the larger projects. But as last time I spoke to you, we alluded to, we are opening a local business, and that local business has grown substantially. We now have offices here in Johannesburg, in Durban, PE, Cape Town, and we're opening in Namibia and Walvis Bay next month, Botswana and Mozambique as well. And we've spent a lot of time working with mining companies, and various other manufacturing and other companies throughout South Africa. In East Africa, it's predominantly a project business, and it's predominantly driven by the hydrology. So we've seen new projects come on in Tanzania, some 100 megawatt we put into Tanzania for TANESCO. Our KenGen projects continue on and go up and down depending on the hydrology. Our Uganda project, after many years, has come to an end successfully. But we may see, as the Bujagali Dam came online, and that's the uniqueness about what we do in Aggreko. We're there for a short-term period to bridge the gap until the main big power projects come on. In West Africa, we're just opening the first depots there in Nigeria, and that will be open very soon. And in the wider Aggreko world, we still continue to see great growth in Asia, South America, and Central America. I mean, the roadmap and the pipeline of work and requirement for power, whether it be in Africa, Asia, etc., is there, and the demand is continuing to grow.
And finally, in terms of high-profile event type things, do we see anything coming to Africa? South Africa is hosting the African Cup of Nations next year again. You are doing the Olympics very soon.
But yeah, we're doing the Olympics this year in London. We're the sole supplier of all the power there. And interesting enough, most of that is gas power, and we've been involved in that since they started building the stadiums, etc. Obviously, you've got the African Cup of Nations next year here. It's too early to tell at the moment, but obviously, if there's a temporary power requirement for that, we, with our joint venture partners, Shanduka, we'll be very happy, and we will be talking to the organising committee.
Thanks very much.